What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. I was gonna do a big Master Duel video today, and like there's just maintenance on it, so there's like nothing I can do. So what I'm gonna do instead is I have like a whole bunch of like backlogged videos on EDOPro. This is probably not gonna be my last ever EDOPro video, definitely not. But I am going to be switching over to Master Duel pretty much. And I was going to make a video about that, tonight, talking about kind of my problems with it. But it's out for maintenance, so I don't want to just talk about it in theory. Basically, I want to like actually be able to, show what I'm talking about. But so yeah, I'm going to clear through all of these and then, really start to dig into the game and talk about what I like about it, and probably just do a bunch more gameplay videos. Just because it's Konami's official platform, and hopefully they add some more features. Maybe that's what maintenance is all about like adding actual features. But for now, I'll showcase some decks. It'll be some fun. It'll be kind of like a random video that I do, like a bunch of gameplay, and I think it should be pretty enjoyable. We're gonna start off here with Invoked Generators. You saw I had a really good opening there in the beginning. I do play Lancey in the side deck, even though it's like good against this deck. Like, once you're set up, like you don't really care about banishing anymore. It's only for one turn too, so you get to choose when it happens. This guy's playing a Mech Knight deck, so this was pretty weird. I've always talked about this card, Boss Fight, being like, I have no idea whether or not this card is good. It kind of is, it's kind of not. Obviously, being able to get this from the deck and then trigger the effect as Boss Stage, in theory, is great, but, when it plays out, maybe not so much. This guy's playing Santa Claus. That's absolutely hilarious. And I think I actually am able to keep it on the board long enough to get the effect of it off, meaning that I will be able to draw a card later in the turn. Battle phase, 500 attack, quite okay. These tokens are going to disappear. I'm going to be able to draw a card. I end up drawing into a hand trap, which is kind of nice. I will be able to maybe pop into one of his back row. I think I maybe knew what this card was. I don't know if like playing into it was the best thing in the world, but nonetheless, it ends up going away because of the, the Nadir Servant. Interesting that it's limited in the OCG or Master Duel. Makes things a little crummy. But I will be building this deck in Master Duel. It's actually the next deck I'm going to build, and then I'm going to go into Sacred Beast. So that is my tentative plan as of right now. This board's insane, right? I mean, I do fill up every zone, which is kind of rough. He top decks a Call by the Grave. Everybody top decks exactly what they need, which is just so frustrating. But okay, it's got a 2,500 attack body, which is a little strange, not going to lie, with all this stuff I have here. But I should be able to send something off of Maximus, and I think I did not mean to do that. I was going to pop his card and clear his board, so there you go. That's what that was. But for decks that, don't play into Maximus, it's actually, like, devastating because it just, like, completely guts their entire extra deck. It's something they have to get rid of really quick in order to win. This is, like, a insane opening, right? And maybe the proper result here for, having only one Nadir Servant is playing extra copies of Maximus, because this card's really important in the deck for sending whatever the case may be. I personally do not run Shadal Ruck, although I don't think it's actually called that the more I think about it. Oh, Schism, that's what it's called, Shadal Schism. There's just a little too many bricks in the deck, and I don't want to add any more just to play, one, what's it called? Shadal, Winda. Jeez. Again, like, you would think this is like a horrible matchup because of the zone placement, but it's kind of all right. He Monster Reborns this. I think every single time it's summoned actually can use this effect, but I did have 2 negates for it. He's going to, tag out there with the Purple Nightfall. He has one of the weirder Mech Knight monsters, honestly, Red Moon. Everyone, like, it's really easy. Well, it's almost impossible to play around Wind Pegasus, so you're just going to have to give up something, right? Which is great for me. I'm going to start sending some more stuff. Another Wind Pegasus. He ends up banishing my Alistair, which is like, it is what it is. He went to attack for a little bit of damage there. And then Boss Stage, like, this card's nuts. Like, it's actually very good. And the cool, like, I will say the best thing about having Boss Fight in the deck, besides its actual effect, is when you go into Macabre, you do have, like, more than likely you'll have, like, a Trap Negate. And I think I run Imperm in this deck, too, so it's always nice to have that option available with Macabre, because most decks, like, it simply just isn't a thing. And we'll go ahead and go into Numeron here. This was the most annoying duel ever, man. Okay, so he hard opens the Numeron Calling, although personally I would probably have sent off of it, because why would you not want to get one of your bricks out of the deck? Goes into a format Appaloosa. Can't say that's a bad thing at all. But man, I just this Solemn Strike is going to put in a lot of work. So going to be able to get those tokens. Obviously, I still have the punishment as well, so that's going to be pretty good. He goes into the battle phase to get over this. That's kind of crummy because it is a pretty big body. I'll go ahead and pop this back row. Don't really care about this, network as of right now. Go ahead and pop the Numeron network. He's going to try to use that effect. Basically, I knew, like, I didn't try to pop the Appaloosa because, like, he's of course going to negate that. I was going to see if he would negate maybe me popping that, Numeron network. Then he tried to, use this so I could pop both of it so I could clear his board. Now, in my mind, I had no idea he had Gamma in his hand, right? So that's a bit unfortunate. He's going to go ahead and activate that effect. That's going to go ahead and get banished. But boss stage every single time. I think he top decks a Ghost Ogre. It's so stupid. Okay, so I've also discussed this before. Like, turn 0, this card kind of stinks because you're giving your opponent 6 cards in their opening hand, which is, like, not good. But later in the stages in simplified game states, it's actually quite nice. As you can see here, like these 4 cards, I'd rather him have 4 cards and me be able to do something like this. Especially if he goes for like a big Numeron summon, like I can negate all of those summons. It's when it summons a monster, or it doesn't have to just be a monster. For the this one, the generator boss of ice. Pretty weird name to be honest, but okay. All right. And he's going into like the big boss monster, the one that has like 100,000 attack or something. Yeah, I wouldn't play that in the deck, honestly. And I'll just go ahead and pop this. I might as well utilize those tokens to my best of my ability. And then he just admits defeat. All right, this was a match. So interestingly enough, I have this triple tactical talents. He has 2 infirms. Great. I'm sure he'll be using both. And he uses the Infirm on the Salamangreat Almirage. 6 billion IQ plays. It literally doesn't get better than that. From the deck, I can go ahead and summon the Ecclesia. I'm getting +2 off of this, like, send, which is so nuts. Plus, he's going to go -1 eventually by getting over these cards. I had the negate for one of the Numerons, although I guess he just goes straight into Mekk-Knight Crusadia. Cool, I guess. I can go ahead and send back the Numeron network because this cannot be targeted, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to get that a little creative. And by creative, I mean just negate the effects, so because it doesn't target. He did have the Forbidden Chalice, which is super annoying because I'm like a little bit short, only like 100 short. This is he's gonna get its effects back. And I make a really bad misplay in this duel. Some people get so mad about like misplays. It's like, oh, why did you ever show this? I've just seen so many different videos where they just like get made fun of for making misplays. Like, I don't really care about showing mine because I feel like you just can learn so much more. Luckily in this interaction, I actually have like a giant body, which is like pretty cool. Because he just, he can't get over it no matter what. As of right now, at least. So he does have the Lightning Storm, but of course he can't get over it. And this is, I think this is where I make the mistake here. I do triple tactical talents. Okay, so in my extra deck, I do not have a target. I was hoping I had a Link monster target. And then either a Link monster target or B, it's a light monster, and then, invocation is monsters that you control. So I was going to go into Mikava, but he did activate Lancia before. So I made a really, like, there's no 2 ways about it. It's a bad misplay, right? So yeah, just, I guess the lesson is to think about your moves or something. Make sure you have the cards in your extra deck. All those kinds of things. Top deck of the boss stage is just so good. You can go ahead and banish one of his, which is kind of nice, I guess. And I can boost this attack because when he tries to activate the effect of Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax, I will go ahead and negate that, banishing it. So all's well that ends well, right? Another Ghost Ogre. You have to be kidding me. Plus the Gamma. So my whole board is just cleared now. That gets destroyed. Good for you. He does have the Cyframe Gear Omega. And he goes into the Numeron network. Like, this is just like not looking good for me, right? But I am going to be able to negate the effects of the C1 because I still have this, like, this thing has, this Ecclesia has put in an insane amount of work for me. So crazy. And now finally my boss stage can go through. He gets his 3rd copy of Numeron network. I don't think he has any more Numeron calls. are calling to be able to go into. Gets over one of the tokens, gets over another one. But at this point, I'm feeling pretty good about myself here, right? In the standby phase, he's going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and activate the Nadir Servant. He's going to banish this, but I do actually, this is actually online now, which is kind of neat. And I can go ahead and special summon the Maximus, send a couple of those. I can pop his other back row. It didn't mean anything at all, but I was going to look into his hand. I could have drawn 2 cards, I guess, but it's fine. It's fine. Boss stage. He's going to go ahead and, you know, negate the effects of the Har, but at this point he doesn't have any cards to work with, so okay. But I guess, yeah. So I don't know. I just don't know why he did that. You know, the boss fight's fine, but you know, at this point, I'm going to be able to switch these to attack position afterwards. I still have another target. I have 3 different targets, right, for this boss stage, which is really nice. And he's going to go ahead and set this Lightning Storm because he does control this face-up card. Like, that's kind of unfortunate, right? And then he does surrender. Oh, so, I mean, that was, like, through a lot of, like, just wonky stuff. This is Monarch Eldritch. I'm literally going to be showing, like, the most random stuff I have on the channel. Just to get it all on my system, I suppose. Anshima Frofright, that's what I like to call this. Who knows what it's actually, how it's supposed to be pronounced, but okay. You know, send a couple of cards because I don't really have anything as of right now, and I do have the Dark Simorgh. I think I was playing against something, maybe I guess it was Therian. I tested this for a little bit because you can grab it off of your what's it called? Oh, cool! He has like these cards. Like I can't look at my own deck. Like seriously, do I have to wait a second? Off of Ether. You can summon this off of Ether, so. It's kind of a decent, because I don't think it has to be tribute summon, right? While face up on the field, this card is also true as win. Yeah, your opponent cannot set cards like on the field. So if you're playing Eldritch, like, and you like have Ether, like you just summon that off of that, right? Like during their turn, which is sick in my opinion. So this is a good tech card. I guess moral of the story. I don't know. And okay, so I can activate Illusion of Chaos one more time, send it back, and I can at least send a Pantheism here and a Conquistador probably, or maybe just an Upstart Goblin, which is good because I do already have Tribute fodder. Can, you know, Tribute for the Ether. Go ahead and summon another Ether from the deck because it's better to summon one during your opponent's turn. But I have a lot of bodies here, so you know the field spell does do a lot of work. He adds a lot to his hand, but I think this Monarch Erupt is going to be putting in a lot of work. We will see. Still can't send any cards, so he can't, you know, Ethereum's Cross is just not doing anything. Activates the Pot of Extravagance again, which is obviously pretty good. He has so many cards, but, alright. I don't think he's going to be able to activate any of these, though, because, like, yeah, I think that the effect of Special Summon, I don't know why none of these cards are showing up, but I think the effect of Special Summon is, like, the first effect, and then equipping is second, so he's going to go ahead and get over the Conquistador, which is, alright, sure. Again, more bodies, but he doesn't have an extra deck. He does Tribute Summon there, which is hilarious. But I'm going to go ahead and avoid this effect that he has here. You know, being able to Special Summon again the Erebus. I'll be able to, you know, put something back. He can now finally set the cross, but I have too much advantage at this point, I think. He's going to negate the effects of the Erebus and banish it. Still, though, I'm going to be able to get over this Therian monster, making it so he doesn't have, you know, another Tribute Summon. I can finally get rid of the field spell because it was causing me so much issues during this turn. Well, as you can tell, this is overkill anyways. But yeah, Monarch Eldritch, super solid deck. Can't recommend it enough. This is Numeron Egyptian God. This deck is interesting. This deck is very interesting. I think it's like probably the best version of Egyptian Gods just in general. Pure is absolute garbage because there's no archetype cards in there. But, you know, you're able to do a lot of cool stuff. You're able to draw a bunch. I play really powerful traps like Summon Limit. I play a lot of hand traps like Ash and Droll. There's just something missing, and I don't exactly know what it is, like, from this deck. So, obviously, like, this is, like, the problem that you'll run into is, like, you want to be able to do, like, so much more with your plays, and then, like, you just have this body. So I tried playing Torrential Tribute for a little bit, but technically, you know, that messes with Soul Crossing. The cool thing about Stereosia is if you do top deck it or you have, you know, the true name, you're able to go through that combo. You can obviously special summon them from your hand. So that's pretty decent. I mean, there's definitely some cool stuff going on here. You may see some of that in this duel. You know, Numeron Wall can go ahead and send. I can activate from the deck. Network is going to draw me a bunch of cards right off the Stereosia. And hopefully I can find something to pair with the true name. I'm pretty sure I will. Or not, but summon limit again, so it's kind of the same setup here. I think it's actually the exact same setup, which is hilarious. But you play like 3 of everything, so you're gonna see pretty similar hands. It's just unfortunate I didn't draw anything for the true name. I top deck Obelisk. That's actually really bizarre, like how similar these first 2 duels were. But okay, I'm gonna hold the Exchanging Souls just in case, and he's gonna go ahead and special summon a couple of cards here. He doesn't have like the Bane monster. I feel like these stink, but I don't think. I just feel like none of these amazement traps do anything. Like he has like 4 set, and it never affected the game. I guess I could have held this, but you know, him not having monsters is kind of important because he can't equip any of his traps to his monsters. I don't really know what amazement cards do, so yeah. And this is really the weakness of the deck, as you can see here, just like top decking, like hoping to find like an Egyptian god, or find something else. But a lot of times, it's like this bad boy's just going to be stuck on the board. He's got 5 back row. But Sarah usually has to activate its effect for this trap to do anything, to like bounce it back to the hand, so I was able to attack directly. I did finally get top share, which is kind of neat, because I could have used that with the true name and special summon Egyptian god from the deck, but I didn't need to. Especially when he has so many back row. Like, I don't really know what any of these cards do. So let me just attack first and then see what happens from there. This is Amazement 2. And this is a great opening, right? And I do run a lot of hand traps, so the deck is good, you know, to a certain extent. And maybe it's just better. Maybe it's like a purely going second deck, but I like to be able to go first and second. I hate playing deck that only does one or the other. It just kind of feels bad to me. So I try to show enough replays where both are happening. But, you know, this is pretty much, you know, one of the best combos. You can do the top share plus the true name, gets you an Egyptian god. Lets you stack anything depending on your hand. I get to draw 4 cards. I can use Exchanging Souls, make this a big body. He's going to, I think, try to take control of this. So it takes 2 cards to take control of a monster. But he didn't have any cards in his hand, which is actually, like, hilarious. So he, like, signed his own death sentence there. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like, you took control of it, but, like, you know, it depends on how many cards you have in your hand. This is against Flu Under Ease. Not bad. This actually has, like, a really good matchup against Flu Under Ease. Terraforming, I will go ahead and just go immediately draw on Lockbird that. This card's pretty decent, especially in Master Duel right now because of Max C. It's kind of good. And I can go ahead and, you know, bring all these cards out, draw 4. And I know this is only a 2 in the OCG, but that's okay. You're obviously going to be playing 2. It's kind of silly that it is, to be honest with you. And I think I may have activated set rotation just so that he couldn't activate his field spell. I think that's how it works, which is kind of neat. I can activate Sarah, just Skull Dread to draw a bunch of stuff. You know, top share. I can grab the Joel and Lockbird for myself because that card is just deadly, you know, against this deck. And then also I have Exchanging Souls plus Fist of Fate, summon limit there. I think I sent it back. I didn't realize I had it in my hand. But yeah, he had Lightning Storm. That is depressing without a doubt. Like, that was like, I had such a good setup and he's just gone. But Joel and Lockbird, obviously I searched last turn. And now he's able to activate everything. So my plans were almost good, but, you know, fall a little short. I can activate Sarah, use a Skull Dread. He's going to normal summon during my turn. But I do have the Ash Blossom here, so sayonara, you don't have any plays at all. And I can get over, you know, these like really small bodies, which is really to my advantage. And now that he can't do anything, you know, I just hate that this, like, I wish I, like, why does it have to go to the graveyard? Like, it's not good. Like, they're not great cards. When it's special summon has to go, it's just so sickening to me, because that would be a really cool interaction if Sarah could just freely special summon that. Like, they need a field spell, like a new field spell that's better than just targeting protection. Like, it's just not enough in 2022. It needs to say, like, if it's special summon, it doesn't go to the graveyard. Like, your Egyptian gods can activate their effects at the end phase, whatever. It just really needs to happen, like, really badly. It also just needs to be archetypal cards. It's just sickening what they've done, but yeah, obviously Numeron Network sometimes is just going to win you the duel, like, by itself, which is always nice because the whole deck is centered around that card. This is against a Synchro deck here. Pretty interesting Synchro deck, actually, too. You know, being able to draw 4 cards, and then when you go into Saryuja, it's also pretty nice. And, like, I think when I played that Numeron deck, I said, like, you know, you should send so that it's, like, out of your deck, and then you can still activate Numeron Calling. You can activate it from your hand. I do run Archfiend's Oath too to be able to stack, which is kind of nice because there's like a multi-card combo just to be able to use the true name, but it does work, which is cool. Thunder Force Attack is here. I can grab the Slifer, can go into the Infinitrax because I do have Exchanging Souls, and so instead of normal summoning, I thought that was pretty decent. All right. He's going to go into Assault Sniper. This is unaffected by all monsters, and it can't be destroyed by battle. So I think this Mega Clops is going to put in a lot of work. It's like just a really good boss monster in general. And I'm just going to go ahead and get over that so it doesn't end up doing anything at all. And Emergency Teleport, I'll go ahead and ash that, which is pretty neat. But he does have this Dawnwalker, which does something pretty wild. I think it just like gives him a tuner. Stardust Assault mode does come down. And he's going to be able to draw 2 fresh cards, which is really cool too, but I don't think he can use them right now. Here to use this effect in this card. Maybe he already activated. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have another copy of that. I'm not sure, but okay. I have a Pot of Avarice myself, so that's kind of nice, I suppose. And as soon as he puts 3 bodies on the board, like, he is done because I'm going to attribute all of those and go into a Slifer. I guess he just quit out. Like, that's pretty tough, right? And this was a match, though, so this was the first game. And it's kind of cool to see this. Hopefully there's a Numeron network on top. I guess we'll find out. I don't remember. Or terraforming. There's so many ways, right? There's like a billion targets that I could have added. You know, Numeron network itself. The Numeron walls were in there. So lots of neat stuff. And then I can draw 4 cards, which really helps me. I draw into 3 Numeron walls. Like, that's pretty crazy. But I do get an Exchanging Soul plus a Thunder Force attack. You kind of wish I kind of wish I had drawn into like some hand traps or, summon limit, something like that. But beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. And I'll go ahead and activate, Exchanging Souls again. It's a nice 5,000 attack body, which is super duper neat. I think he brings us back in attack position. I don't know if he has to. Let's see real quick. No, he didn't have to. It's just like, I guess it was just a misplay. But I'm sitting pretty good here, and every turn, I guess I get a bigger attack, but, Thunder Force attack is obviously pretty good, too. I think it can only activate 1 effect at a time, so I kind of misplayed here. But I should know the card after, so I do have to, keep that in mind. And I can just go ahead and special summon from the deck another Slifer, so double Slifer, which is pretty cool. Can't complain too much. And this is Numeron, Egyptian God, against pure Raid Raptors. Like, dude, you want to talk about pure Raid Raptors. Like, this is it. Like, there literally is no other cards other than Raid Raptors, so shout out to this guy. Not how I would play the deck personally, but sure. Again, once you get this far into your deck, you're going to have some pretty good plays, And maybe one more turn. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and tribute all of his monsters. He's not going to recover from that, right? Like, it's just too hard. Plus, I can special summon with Sarasia, the Obelisk. Can have both of them on the board. Not that this wasn't lethal already, but, it would have been cool to flex, I suppose. I still have some more, so this is going to be a pretty long video, but it's good to have this out, I guess. This is Rocket Raid Raptors, one of my favorite decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just so sick. I called one thinking I was playing against Infernoids. I didn't want to be able to go into Decatron. It's pretty much my first assumption, but yeah, he's going into some random Gusto cards. I don't think I've ever shown this before. Totem Bird comes down. This card can't be destroyed by battle, so I have to get a little creative. He just he's like, oh, first spell and trap, gotta negate that. So I was like, okay, thank you, I guess, because I'm going to be able to do some pretty cool stuff here. So 4 Strix can come down. I can go into the Singing Lanius, and I can go ahead and go into the Mimicry. I can activate Soul Shade Force, go into the Infinity, get around this Spheres here, the Spheres, and this was pretty cool. This is not a full replay because he ended up quitting, but I didn't know what he had in hand. It was probably nothing, but you might as well activate something like Nibiru just in case, or whatever, and then I can have triggered Tracer to pop that card. So it's not like I'm setting it. You can also dump some sort of brick out of your deck. Whatever the case may be, it's kind of cool. I don't have to sacrifice one of my monsters. I can just use Tracer effect, go through my full combo. Eventually go into Borderlord Savage Dragon, have 2 Omni Negates plus probably Dark Requiem, all that kind of stuff. And this is, Rocket Raid Raptor versus Eldritch. This is a pretty weird hand And it's really weird because I do have quick launch, so I'm going to be able to get Tracer, but normally Tracer special summons like these two from the deck. You know, I don't normally have all three in my hand. So Tracer like can't use his effect, which is good. Or not good, it's bad, but I have too much gas in my hand for it to not be like, you know, pretty decent here. Especially because I can special summon 2, it's never really too bad of a problem. So, you know, the Tracer and whatever can come out on the board. I have not normal summon yet, so I can finally do that now. You know, detach the Raider's Wings, search the Singing Lanius, you know, bring this back, go into the Y-Strix, special summon from the deck the Mimicry, go into a 4-Strix, probably search out, you know, one of my extenders, which is Strangle Lanius, which equals a rank 4, or IP Masquerena, I guess, in emergency. And I can go into an Infinity. I am not locked into Darks at all. Go into the Rusty Bartige, go into the Borreload Savage Dragon. Like, this deck is insane. And Boots can go ahead and banish. Go get myself a Fog Blade. Strangle Lanius can bring a rank 4 back. Go into the, you know, the Dark Rebellion XC Dragon. Set myself up for Fog Blade. Like, I just really love this end board, like, a lot because, you know, if they Dark Ruler no more you, like, these two are offline, obviously, but you still have a Fog Blade and you still have a Requiem, which turns into 3 monster negates. So it's not enough. They're going to need multiple forms of interruption to get it through you. He activates Cursed Eldlin. He's going to probably grab himself an Eldritch. He's going to try to pop this. Of course, I kind of have to respond. But when he does bring back the Eldritch, I'm actually not going to negate that. That's fine because I do have a Fog Blade. I guess he's like holding the Red Eyes Fusion for next turn, but you know, there isn't going to be a next turn, like, at all. And then he sets one random card at the end because I knew this was Hakero. Hakero doesn't do anything against me, and I popped it. It ended up being an Ice Dragon's Prison. I do have the 2 Omni Negates for it, so it didn't matter too much in the end, but better safe than sorry. He's going to activate Hakero, banish some random card. I think it's one of my Rocket monsters. No big deal. I could go ahead and normal summon this, the Tribute Lanius. I'm going to try to activate this to special summon an Eldritch from the deck, and I'll attack directly for lethal. And I still had a lot left, too. So that was a good opening, of course. Last but not least is Sky Striker. And I make, dude, I'm telling you, like, one of the best plays I think I've ever made since I played Yu-Gi-Oh! In this duel. So we'll see what I got to work with. I mean, he's got some pretty intense stuff. You know, Torrential Tribute, Skill Drain. True Light doesn't really do anything. The card stinks, unfortunately. He's going to go ahead and get over the Shizuku. I'll bring back the Ray. And I'm going to trigger this during the end phase. That way I can get another search, you know, during the turn. I'm going to go ahead and grab a Jamming Waves because he's got a lot of stuff going on back here. And I'll pop the True Light, I think is what I target. Yeah. But he does go ahead and activate Goes in Match. Like, that's super tough. That kind of stinks. And I'll grab a Widow Anchor just because. I mean, what else would I want to grab there? I think he just passes turn again. Okay, I'm in a pretty weird spot. For a while I was running Ghost Ogre because of the matchup against the Synchro deck. I cannot Sword Soul. Like, that's why I had it in there. So I'm going to start setting these in these columns because I can't switch through my Sky Striker monsters as of right now. But he's coming to the board mostly because Blue Eyes is super picky and I guess he just simply can't. I'll see if I can find anything off the top. I find another Area 0. I can go into Array. Unfortunately, I don't think I can tag out again, so maybe that was a misplay. I mean, I guess it doesn't technically matter, like, at all. He's going to bring back the Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon. He's going to, you know, get over this. I really need a Fusion Destiny. Like, that's going to be kind of important. I do have 3 spells in the grave right now. I can target this Upstart Goblin to maybe find a play starter. Pretty cool. I can go ahead and, you know, pop the alternative. I can negate. I don't really know. Oh, the only reason I activated Imperm was to negate the effects of the ultimate creature. I'm like, what was the point of that? But yeah, that's why I did that. Still a lot of back row, and I am, you know, pretty far behind. The top deck of Fusion Destiny, of course, is massive. Skill Drain comes down, so it's like, oh, like that sucks. I do not know what I'm going to do. This is insane. This is insane. So I need to pop that Skill Drain or I lose this duel, right? So what do? I activate my Phoenix Enforcer's effect to, you know, pop the Skill Drain. And I blow it up with my own because Ghost Ogre doesn't, you know, negate anything. It just blows it up. So that means that this effect of Phoenix Enforcer is going to, because everything resolves in reverse order, is going to go off, you know, because it's last. So it's going to pop Phoenix Enforcer first, and then Phoenix Enforcer's effect to pop whatever I want is going to go through. So, I mean, you just got to love that. You got to appreciate that play because That's really dope. That's like the best play I think I've ever made. Like just like thinking that through, right? So the skill drain comes down. And all I have to do is attack directly for lethal. Super cool, man. I just love that play. That's just like speaks to the creativity of Yu-Gi-Oh in general. I think like just how cool it is. You're not doing that in Magic the Gathering. Like I started playing that a little bit on mobile, and yeah, so it's not a thing. Like it's just much more simple. Reinforcement of the army is going to get me a Ray, kind of a Ray heavy hand or a Sky Striker heavy hand, whatever you want to call it. Fusion Destiny can come out next. He's going to go ahead and grab the Dogmatic Punishment, which is really easy to play around. Honestly, it's not too big of an issue at all. So the Wind Pegasus is going to come down. I'll go ahead and banish that so we can't use the effect at any point. Simplified game state, but that's cool with me. He goes for the Pot of Prosperity. Grabs himself a Scarlet Sanguine. Maybe should have grabbed the Solemn. I don't know. Although I guess it was going to get popped anyways. But he sets on Hakero, but Hakero doesn't really matter because I have so many like Sky Striker cards in my hand. I can normal summon Ray, activate the effective Rose, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to try to just go for lethal at this point. Although I think I did mess up here, because I think I should have just, like, yeah, it's cool, like, to add this to your hand for free. But at the same time, I don't think this is enough, right? Oh, no, it's like, yeah, because I knew I had the Arcaro. So, yeah, I probably should have just attacked. And I could have done this, I guess, in the main phase, too, if it was that important, but not really. I can draw a couple cards. Ends up being triple tackle talents. Decent enough, I suppose. A couple of shark cannons could do something. He's going to, use Fusion Destiny, go into his own Phoenix Enforcer, and he's going to, pop one of my back row. I'm going to pop my own Area 0 to go, like, into my monster, but everything was cool because I could gone, besides having it engaged, like, I just needed to attack directly one time, right? Because I just needed to go into the wind, and that was lethal. This is against heroes. And he's going to go for the Ferris. All right. I only have the one Ghost Ogre, but it's really good to use on Increase. Increase is like the best point of interaction against heroes, I think, in general. Okay, so the Mist isn't doing anything here. I'm going to go ahead and use this combo. He's going to go ahead and use Ash Blossom. Not the end of the world at all. Like, definitely worse things have happened. I'm going to go ahead and draw 2 cards there. I don't like using Pot of Prosperity in Sky Striker. I feel like there's too many important cards, but to each their own, I suppose. I mean, that's like obviously like the very popular version of the deck. I'm not saying to each their own. Like, I'm playing a weird version of the deck, I guess, at the end of the day. So, Kagari can come back down. He's going to go ahead and go into the Increase again. I'm just going to pop his other back row, and it ends up being a Forbidden Droplet, but you never know if that could come in handy. He's going to, like, combo during my turn, which is kind of annoying, but I can also pop a card on his field. So the Increase really isn't doing anything by itself. I can go ahead and banish his copy of Malicious so he can't use the effect. Reinforcement of the Army is going to get hit with an Ash Blossom here, plus I already have the Solemn Judgment, which I'm going to activate because he doesn't have any other cards in his hand, right? Top deck Fusion Destiny, always pretty cool. I can grab myself an Engage again. This card's nuts. Obviously, there's a couple copies in the OCG. I'll be playing this in Master Duel at some point. And I think I target like a triple tactical talent. He doesn't have any cards in his hand, so that ended up being pretty decent. Even if it was just an Area 0. Fusion Destiny would have came down, and yeah. And I guess I'm playing Therian again. I know this card is starting to peak up a little bit. We'll see. It's kind of hard to tell early on how competitive decks are going to be, but obviously it's probably off to a decent start. Solemn Judgment can... I mean... I don't know, like, personally, if that was the right decision, but going Neptune card advantage is almost too good to be true. Like, right, like, he's going to... Because I think he, dumps one of his in the graveyard, which is great. So if he has, like, one in his hand, it's like... Gonna get 2 fresh cards. It's too good. Obviously very bold, but considering I did also have Phoenix Enforcer, I think it's pretty decent. Lone Fire Blossom obviously is gonna get negated there with the Called by the Grave. I'll pop one of his back row just to start getting through some stuff here. I hope, kind of unfortunate it wasn't the Imperm because I don't think this card was doing anything, but what are you gonna do? And we'll look at the top 3 cards. I end up finding a Ray. It's kind of OP, to be honest with you. And I'm going to go ahead and attack directly, switch this out, go into the Hayate. Hayate can go ahead and dump the Mobilize Engage. He's going to negate the effect of Phoenix Enforcer, which makes sense. I can draw 2 cards, go into Kagari, grab the Engage. Can't use the Engage because this is negated for the time being, but that's, I think I'll be okay. He's going to go ahead and add this to his hand. So he actually does have some pretty good plays going here. Shark Cannon, I don't know why I didn't. Maybe I searched this out. I probably searched it out because otherwise, I definitely would have I would have said it. But all right, so he's going to have an Omni Negate here. I know the King Regulus does that. He's got a few other effects. I don't know what these are. Again, I don't know why these cards aren't showing up for me, but I'll go ahead and make sure this other one can't attack, so my board is still full. Pretty neat, pretty neat. Phoenix Enforcer is going to go ahead and, I think, banish this or just maybe negate the effects. I can go into a Zeke. Zeke can, I think, maybe return this to a hand. I do have the Widow Anchor. He's going to go ahead and use his Omni Negates. So it's using a whole bunch of effects just to get through some pretty simple stuff, right? It's about as good as it gets for me because, I can go ahead and go into the Mobilize Engage. I can take control of this, go into a 3, a whole lot of stuff. And, I would have been able to go for lethal too, which is pretty neat. I'm going to save this water deck one for the end because, again, this deck is, when it comes to Sky Striker, nobody can grind like this deck. It's literally impossible. You run 1,000 hand traps with Sky Striker, so you're always pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and pop whatever this back row is, which is pretty neat, especially because this Conquistador, it's not going to replace itself anymore. And when Lord of Heavenly Prison's out, it's still a great way to get around it. Cosmic Cyclone's a good card. And, he sets the Fusion Destiny from the deck, so in my mind, I have to get rid of it because I already knew what it was, because it does have to, obviously it's revealed. I know what this card is, so he's not going to be able to go into it. I'm going to go into a Fusion Destiny of my own during, the main phase 2. Let's go ahead and pop these 2 cards. It's going to come back next turn. Shizuku's going to search me during the end phase, and I'm sitting pretty right now. The Solemn Strike, I think, is eventually going to get set. I will go ahead and pop this and, the card itself, so it misses timing there. Although, yeah, I mean, what it sends. So it's better to have Phoenix Enforcer on board, honestly. Can't complain too much about it. This card is just too influential to be, used. I'm going to go ahead and pop the Akero again. That sucks. But last duel here, Sky Striker versus, this water deck, a random water deck, of course. Upstart Goblin. It's just a free spell into the graveyard. Tries to activate Imperm. That's the oldest trick in the book, and it's going to miss timing. Go ahead and search the Engage during the end phase for a great follow-up next turn. I'm consistent, at least when it comes to my Solemn Judgment decisions. I will not let you draw 2 cards. It's just simply too good. He's going to try to activate Buzzsaw Shark. In my mind, I'm thinking he's probably going to go for the Cook play. He has to have it in there, yeah, right? That's like a win condition. So he's not going to be able to do that. Unless because the one I think that doesn't let it be destroyed by battle, isn't a free special summon. So he's going to pop the Shizuku. I will go ahead and bring back the Ray. He's going to go ahead and special summon the XYZ Remora and bring a lot of materials back to probably go into Bahamut Shark. I'm not doing well, right? This is bad. He's going to immediately negate with there, and he's going to, take control of my Rose, which is decent enough. That's fine because getting rid of his Omni Negate is most important. One of these can attack, and this can attack, and I targeted this one, and then he used Totally Awesome. So I was able to get through that phase, fairly quickly. He's going to go ahead and pop the Kaina. I kind of feels like it was a little too quick, but makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and draw a couple cards. Imperm plus Solemn Judgment, that's obviously, pretty good. Kagari can go ahead and add the Engage back to my hand. I can activate Engage again to draw an extra card. I can pop the Bahamut Shark so it doesn't go through its effect. And now I'm sitting pretty, it happened quick. Me coming into this duel, happened really fast. He's going to go into a Dweller. I will go ahead and negate that summon there. He's going to go into a Bahamut Shark. I will use the Infinite Impermanence. He's going to try to pop, with this card. I think it would have burned me for the rest. So, he has 9,000 life points, and I have 1,200. The Ray can come back, which is kind of neat. I'll go ahead and tag these out. Go into a Kagari. Grab the Engage again. And I think he ends up trading there. He goes for the Zeus to wipe my board just for a Widow Anchor. Wouldn't you rather wait? But I guess not. I can grab myself another Ray. Kind of a nice top deck. I can attack directly. So finally, again, I got myself into the duel and I'm back in again. So Multi-roll I can finally grab here, and then I can grab the Mobilizing Gauge, grab a Widow Anchor, take control of this monster, go into a Zeke, go into a Shizuku, protecting my life points the best I can. And Shizuku can grab a Shark Cannon at the end of the turn. I can go ahead and activate that effect to banish something. A top deck of a Harpy's Feather Duster is it stinks. Like that's no good. I can activate the Area 0, targeting the triple tactical talents. Doesn't have any cards in his hand, although I don't think there's that many targets left in the deck at all. I can't attack directly there. We'll see what ends up happening. A right hand shark, a normal summon there, and I think he just attacks into this and surrenders, which is crazy, like that I was even in that duel. But yeah, that was like all the replays I have, right, for EDOPro. Like I said, transitioning over Master Duel, wanted to get this out of my system. Didn't want to make individual videos for this. It's all here. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.